What to do, Durag Nation? Superhero fans are eating better than food reviewers right now. There is so much content, and I'm not just talking about The Boys, Daredevil, and Invincible dropping within 24 hours of each other. There's some incredible superhero games releasing this year and next, but some of the most exciting ones haven't even been announced yet, but they're coming sooner than you think. So today I want to focus on those upcoming superhero games discovered through job postings, leaks, and good old-fashioned journalism that I think have insane potential, including this huge superhero game that people think is canceled that could be getting revealed this year. First, Hulk smash that hype button to share the news, but if the video was trash, leave it a dislike. Starting with Insomniac Games, who have probably the two most well-known and anticipated superhero games that the company has technically not confirmed even exist. In addition to Marvel's Wolverine dropping in a few months, with a new showcase happening soon, they of course have Marvel's Spider-Man 3, which even Peter's new face model was teasing at this point. Apparently they're already doing mocap, so that game is definitely getting announced sooner rather than later. But what I want to talk about is a game releasing before that, Marvel's Venom. The standalone Venom spinoff was one of the projects that came out as a result of the Insomniac hack a few years ago. But it's something even the creative director had been teasing as a possibility ever since Spider-Man 2 came out and fans learned it would have a playable section as the symbiote Menace, who's so strong he can even make refrigerators lethal. But recently fans had a bit of a panic attack when Miles Morales' voice actor Najee Jeter said on a Love It Film podcast that Insomniac had shown him an early look at a solo Venom game, but it was canceled following the tragic passing of Venom's voice actor Tony Todd. But before you get depressed all over again, Marvel's Venom seems to be very much not canceled and still in development. First off, Tony Todd passed away in November 2024, which is around the time the game would have been canceled. But MP First, a well-known game publication that gets a lot of exclusive leaks about video games, including the first gameplay for Rise of Hydra, revealed in September 2025 two big scoops about Venom and Wolverine. They said Wolverine was targeting a 2026 release, which was later confirmed by Insomniac. They also confirmed the Venom game wasn't canceled and was still in active development. But there's more. After the Najee Jeter quote about Venom being canceled came out, Jason Schreier, the Michael Jordan of video game reporters, posted on a popular forum for industry professionals that the story about the Venom game being canceled wasn't true. We're so back. The Venom game is expected to launch in 2027 at the earliest and will reportedly be closer to Miles Morales in size than Spider-Man 2. While not having Tony Todd would definitely make things much harder, according to Tony, only 10% of the Venom lines he recorded made it into the game, so they should have a ton of material to work with. Not to mention the option to use a different voice actor to fill in the gaps, such as Steve Bloom, the legendary voice actor who has voiced Venom for over a decade and currently plays him in Marvel Rivals.
The symbiote.
According to rumors, the Venom game will star Eddie Brock instead of Harry Osborn, who was obviously too busy to be the star of his own game based on how Spider-Man 2 ended, which works out because Eddie is the symbiote host most fans wanted anyway. Eddie was first introduced in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe during Spider-Man PS4, so him being a character wouldn't come out of nowhere. The game is also expected to use Carnage potentially as the main villain, which would make sense after they canceled the Spider-Man 2 story DLC. That game's biggest side quest ended with Cletus Cassidy escaping with his own symbiote, so it would make sense if they reworked what they were developing as Carnage DLC into the Venom solo game. Next, we have to talk about a game that might be getting a surprise release this year. It was recently revealed that Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, which is kind of having a rough time right now, is looking to expand beyond the Battle Royale with 3 new Disney licensed games as part of the billion-dollar investment the House of Mouse made that we assumed was just going to produce some metaverse slop, but is actually going to produce video games, with the first scheduled to release this year. Disney reportedly wants to see more of their characters in video games after how much Marvel Rivals has boosted the popularity of Marvel through the power of gooning and the cuteness of Jeff the Landshark. So Epic Games is working hard to deliver these new games, with their remaining dev team that hasn't been laid off. The first game is reportedly an extraction shooter featuring Disney-owned characters, which is one of the most ridiculous sentences in the history of the English language. But let them cook for a second. The game is in place testing, and according to player feedback, that game's mechanics don't feel very original, which is definitely a lot better than people saying the game isn't fun. As long as they have the right characters, they can always give them cool powers later. There are 2 more games planned to release after this extraction shooter, and I'm actually extremely curious about how this will turn out, because I've always felt Epic could make a really cool third-person superhero game based on some of the stuff I've seen in Fortnite, like Superman. Disney, though, also made a deal with another huge company that lays off their employees to produce new games, and that's of course EA. Back in 2022, they announced a 3-game deal for new single-player Marvel games, with the first being an open-world action game based on Iron Man being developed by Motive Studios, the creators of the Dead Space remake. Leaks confirmed the first two games were supposed to be Iron Man and Black Panther, with a third game in early development based on an unknown hero. Unfortunately, the Black Panther game ended up being canceled because you can't spend more than 5 years working on a game at EA with no microtransactions in it. Fortunately, they confirmed Iron Man was safe and that they still planned on making at least 3 Marvel games. We never found out what the other one besides Iron Man was, and there's a good chance it'll be canceled if the single player Tony Stark game flops. But I don't see that happening. I think Iron Man will be a huge hit. And if it is, I think the other games will probably be based on heroes around Tony's level of popularity, which I think is great news for Hulk fans. He's long overdue for a new open world game after the classic Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And I think a new modern game starring Banner would be insane and shake up the standard formula for single player superhero games. But the unannounced project that I'm most hopeful for is the new Marvel's Avengers game. Avengers holds a special place in my heart as the game that started my entire channel, and even though I knew the cancellation was coming, it was still sad because of how much potential it had to be great, which is why I was so happy when famous industry reporter Daniel RPK leaked that a new Avengers game was in early development. According to him, this will not be a direct sequel and is not being made by Square Enix or Crystal Dynamics. This will be a true fresh start at a brand new studio. I could write a 5-hour video essay on what went wrong with Avengers and how to make the new one right, and I hope whoever is working on the game now has done their research. I thought the Avengers game had a very strong premise, but suffered by being made in a bad game engine and trying to force itself to be a looter shooter. The original Avengers really shone with the combat in the story campaigns, which is where the new one should focus and leave the whole loot thing behind. Progression should strictly be about unlocking new abilities or finding cool new upgrades rather than farming for chess pieces with increased critical hit rate. Marvel Rivals has proven there is a huge market for a multiplayer superhero game, especially a PvE one, as Rivals has seen huge spikes in players after adding more story-driven non-6v6 content such as Marvel Zombies, the new Dracula and Kingpin mode Blood Hunt, as well as all the new game modes based on the Avengers movies dropping this year. But Marvel isn't the only one cooking up some exciting upcoming superhero games. DC also has some unannounced superhero projects that could pop off for WB or Paramount if the deal goes through. The one I'm personally most excited for is a new DC game being made by the developers of Batman Arkham Origins. A job posting went out from WB Games Montreal confirming they were hiring for their next game, which would once again be set in the DC universe. The studio went through a shakeup after their last game, the underrated Gotham Knights, failed to live up to expectations, but they're getting another chance after getting a new studio head from Bethesda, as well as the huge shakeup at Warner Bros. Led by James Gunn and CEO David Zaslav, who want to see more video games based on DC Comics. According to the listing, this game appears like it will be multiplayer and will be getting post-launch content updates and DLC, as well as some sort of playtest. This isn't surprising since all of the studio's games so far have been open world superhero games that have some sort of co-op element, which I'm personally a fan of when done right. We first found out about this game 2 years ago, so we're definitely getting close to the first official reveal. While most people probably want a Justice League game, I would actually be very hyped if this one was based on the Teen Titans. The studio already included some members in the Gotham Knights game, like Superboy, and I think an open world co-op game with these characters would go so hard. Exploring the city and fighting with Kid Flash, Superboy, and Raven would be incredible and definitely something I'd be there for day one. But the unannounced DC game we have the most confidence in is the next game from Rocksteady. They have a new single player Batman game in development that has fans hopeful after their live service disaster. But I think this game is a safe bet, along with 12 other confirmed superhero games I broke down that are releasing in 2026 and beyond. Click the video on screen to learn more. And a huge shout out to everyone supporting me on Patreon. Join for free so you never miss an update.